On September 2, 1939, a terrified 9-year-old Polish girl watched her entire village burn while clutching a single wooden toy. She wasn't a soldier, she wasn't a threat. Yet her life changed in seconds. World War II is often told through generals, battles, maps, and machines. But history's true weight lies in the faces of those who lived it: forgotten soldiers, young nurses, trapped civilians, and ordinary people pulled into extraordinary chaos. Their stories rarely made textbooks, but today, we're giving them back their voice. Our journey begins in Poland, where the war ignites. 12-year-old Danuta Kaczmarek wakes up on September 1, 1939, to the earth shaking under her feet. German Stukas scream overhead. Her father grabs her hand and yells for the family to run. Bombs strike the marketplace. A church collapses. Danuta loses sight of her mother in the smoke. She searches desperately among the rubble, choking on dust and fear. Hours later, her mother emerges alive, but carrying someone else's child who has no family left. Danuta's story marks the first of millions of civilian lives scrambled in minutes. She survives the war, but she never forgets that morning when childhood ended forever. Now we move to the skies. In September of 1940, 19-year-old RAF pilot Alan MacDonald takes off from an airfield outside London. He's flown barely a dozen combat hours. Enemy bombers are inbound. The sky is filled with black puffs of anti-aircraft fire. Alan climbs through the clouds, heart pounding. His radio crackles, bandits at 2 o'clock. He sees a formation of German bombers escorted by fighters. His squadron dives. The first burst of gunfire rattles his cockpit. His wingman's engine bursts into flame. Alan locks onto a bomber's tail, fires, and watches it descend smoking into the channel. Minutes later, his own plane is hit. Fuel leaking, controls stiffening. He bails out over open water. Rescued by a fishing boat, he returns to flying 2 weeks later. He would survive the Battle of Britain, but half of his squadron would not. Deep in the forests of Belarus, a young man named Mikhail Kirilenko becomes a partisan. On February 17, 1942, German forces level his village. His parents are killed, his sister is taken. Mikhail flees into the woods with a handful of survivors. Armed with old hunting rifles, they ambush supply convoys and sabotage rail tracks. One freezing night, Mikhail's group derails a German train transporting weapons. Explosions light the forest. Return fire erupts from the cars. Mikhail crawls through the snow, planting explosives beneath a troop wagon. The blast flips the car, crushing the soldiers inside. It is brutal, desperate, and raw. For Mikhail, survival means resistance. He never finds his sister, but his efforts save hundreds of other families from being captured or deported. Thousands of miles away in the Philippines, in 1941, Nurse Magdalena Santos works at a field hospital during the Japanese invasion. Supplies run out quickly. She rips her own bedsheets to create bandages. With no anesthetic left, she holds the hands of wounded soldiers as surgeons operate. When Japanese troops finally seize the hospital in April 1942, she hides American and Filipino soldiers beneath broken floorboards and smuggles food to them at night. Discovery means execution, but she keeps going for months until the area is liberated. After the war, few records mention her. But the soldiers she saved remember her for the rest of their lives. In Leningrad, we meet 17-year-old Viktor Belinsky. On September 12, 1941, the siege begins. Food runs out fast. Viktor carves thin slices of frozen bread for his younger brother, often skipping meals so the boy can eat. Winter hits. Temperatures drop below -20 degrees Celsius. He joins work brigades to clear snow from roads and bury victims of starvation. One day he collapses from hunger. A woman he doesn't know gives him her last potato. "Live," she whispers. He survives the siege. She does not. Viktor spends the rest of his life searching for her name, hoping to honor the stranger who gave her life to save his. Meanwhile, in North Africa, we find Private Harold Benson, a British tank operator fighting under scorching desert heat. On June 5, 1942, during the Battle of Gazala, his tank is hit. Flames erupt in the engine compartment. Benson's crew scrambles to escape. One man is trapped by a jammed hatch. Harold smashes it with a wrench until the metal bends open. He drags the crewman out just before the tank explodes. Moments later, enemy shells hit nearby, blasting sand into the air. Benson fights on foot for hours, dehydrated and dizzy. He eventually collapses and is taken prisoner, surviving the rest of the war in a POW camp. His courage saves a man, but history forgets his name. Across the Pacific, 8-year-old Japanese boy Haruto Akiyama lives in Yokohama when American B-29 bombers arrive on May 29, 1945. The sky glows orange as incendiaries fall. His family runs to a shelter, but his grandfather is unable to move fast. Haruto stays with him as the firestorm intensifies. Heat scorches the ground. Wine pulls flames horizontally. Haruto finally convinces his grandfather to lean on him. They crawl through alleys of burning debris. When they reach safety, both collapse. Haruto loses his home but not his grandfather. Years later, he would become an advocate for peace, telling children about the night when the sky turned to fire. On the Western Front, American medic Charles Donnelly lands in Normandy days after D-Day. With no weapon, only a Red Cross armband, he rushes across fields under fire to reach wounded soldiers. One rainy night near St. Lay, he hears cries from a collapsed barn. Inside he finds both American and German soldiers pinned under beams. He ignores uniforms, treating whoever he can reach. As artillery hits nearby, the barn begins to collapse further. Charles drags a German soldier outside just before the roof caves in. The man survives. After the war, he writes letters thanking the American medic who saved him. They become lifelong friends. In Italy, 14-year-old Lucia Moretti hides in the basement of a monastery during the German retreat in 1944. She hears tanks rolling by overhead, monks whispering prayers, and the distant cries of the wounded. One morning she finds a young German soldier alone, bleeding heavily, no older than a boy. Despite her fear, she brings him water and bandages his leg. He speaks almost no Italian, she speaks no German. But they understand each other. Days later, he limps away, leaving her a tiny carved wooden bird. Lucia keeps it for the rest of her life, a reminder that humanity survives even in war. And then there's the story of Samuel Wright, a black American truck driver in the Red Ball Express. In August 1944, he delivers fuel and ammunition under constant threat from air attacks. Roads are narrow, muddy, and lined with wreckage. One night, his convoy is ambushed. Trucks explode. Soldiers scatter. Samuel drives his vehicle into a ditch to block enemy fire and protect the convoy behind him. Bullets slam into the chassis, smoke fills the cab. But his sacrifice allows dozens of trucks to escape. After the war, his contribution and the contributions of thousands like him received little recognition despite keeping Allied armies moving. Finally, we reach Finland. In 1939, young farm boy Eno Lahtinen joins the army during the Winter War. His first day at the front, temperatures fall to -30 degrees Celsius. Frostbite threatens every exposed inch of skin. Soviet shells shake the earth. Eno's squad takes shelter in a snow trench. As night falls, they hear Soviet troops approaching. Eno fires his first shot, hands trembling. His squad holds the line for hours. By sunrise, half of them are gone. Eno survives, but the war changes him forever. He returns home quiet, carrying memories he never speaks of again. By 1945, millions of forgotten faces, soldiers, civilians, nurses, partisans, children have shaped the war in small ways that history books rarely mention. These weren't famous commanders. They didn't lead armies. They were ordinary people placed in impossible circumstances, making choices that defined their lives and the lives of others. Their stories remind us that the true cost of war isn't measured in territories won or armies defeated, but in the lives changed forever by events they never asked to be part of. Which of these forgotten faces touched you the most? And whose full story should we explore in a dedicated documentary next? Don't forget to like, share, and hit the subscription button on our channel for more word to history like this.